Probably is about time that I addressed the lolly shitstorm that I started on Twitter over a few tweets that I made that seem to have upset an awful lot of people. The reason it has taken so long is that after coming back from Comic-Con, I appear to have contracted the weeb disease while I was there, so I've spent the last week coughing up bits of my lung and various other internal organs, which is why, yes, I am going to do this video today in a onesie. Fuck off. And what better way to address the lolly shitstorm than replying to a 200 IQ individual, a man with a brain with many, many, many wrinkles. Your boy Charming Man. People really didn't like me acting like a bit of a shitlord when it came to the whole lolly argument online. Even after I dropped the shitlordery and opened myself up for further discussion, people were still too butthurt, so that offer wasn't enough for them, so I decided, fuck it, I would just leave it and walk away. But Charming Man, do you remember him? He decided to make a video where he kind of puts his foot in his mouth, misrepresents my points, ignores everything I said after initial comments and so on, just so that he can sort of have a chance at having a point. Well, that's fine then. You want to have a chat? Let's have a fucking chat then, wee man.
And also Dankula weighed in with his hot take, and that's what we're responding to. Your hot take, Dankula.
You can go ahead and respond to that hot take, the one that I retracted. In fact, you read the retraction out in this video, so you're making an entire video about a retracted statement, so you go ahead and address that hot take while I work on addressing the like fucking 9 that you make in this video.
You might remember me, you might not, Dankula. We streamed together twice. Once on Tale Features stream, and the night that shall not be named. Thank you.
You mean the night that Failure Accomplished roasted you so hard that you nearly cried? That's the only reason I remember you.
So, I'm responding to you, and just so you know, it's not from a place of hate. It's not even from a place of disrespect. It's simply disagreement.
And because it's good content. Come on, man. We're all YouTubers here. Let's just be honest with each other.
But don't worry. You can't play the pedo games on me, because I'm not a pedo. I'm a regular normal... I'm not a normal person. But I try to be normal. I don't like lolly. I don't like things to do with children. In fact, I don't quite like children very much. I can't stand them.
Neither do I. Yet, here we are.
So now that we've got that out of the way, let's start. So Count Dankula is a well-known fighter for freedom of speech. He has been literally oppressed by our own government, plus his own devolved government. You know what, in many ways he's lucky he even has a devolved government to be oppressed by. I don't. So he should know firsthand, in fact he does know firsthand, what it's like to be the victim of draconian laws to do with offence, specifically gross offensiveness. And for some reason he took it upon himself to go on the opposite side of this argument between Torba, anime fans, Lullaby and me.
There is a very good reason why Gab banned lolly. Lolly is classed as simulated child porn, which is illegal in many, many countries. And right now, especially when everyone is gunning for Gab, if Gab continues to host such content in such countries, Gab can then be banned from that country. And getting your website banned from an entire country is a massive loss in revenue. So it's just better for them to play on the safe side and have lolly banned for the time being so that their website doesn't get restricted. Most businesses make decisions based on business, not morals.
Which is apparently this. Literal child porn is not free speech. God damn it, Dank, you've only gone and pulled a Lindsay Shepherd. Funnily enough, both times, that's something vaguely pornographic. Ponder about that point for a moment. So, lolly is not a free speech issue. Okay? That's a strange sentiment, because if you think about it, surely by that logic, portraying murder, betraying violence, betraying theft, betraying anything immoral or disgusting is not a free speech issue then, surely. Think about it. If I show somebody getting killed in an art piece, should that therefore be banned because it's disgusting and therefore it's not a free speech issue?
The amazing thing is, I retracted that statement in a later tweet. You even read out the retraction in this video. So you're arguing over a retracted statement. You made a video over a retracted statement, but everyone, shh. Let's just sit back and see if he notices, right? Let's just let him continue. My reasoning behind it is simple. It's a point that a lot of people don't get or simply refuse to look at, but I really feel that it's not something that should be discounted. People keep saying to me, oh, saying lolly porn can encourage sexual acts is like saying violent video games can encourage violence. Sexual urges and violent urges are not even comparable. Not even comparable in any way. They are nothing like each other. So you can drop that shit just now. They are nothing fucking like each other. I can go a very, very long time without getting in a fight. And I'm Scottish. But I need to throw it in my missus at least once a day. Right? We've all done very, very stupid stuff just because we were horny, right? We've all fucking done it. So don't sit there and try and act like sexual urges and violent urges are the same types of urges, right? They are very, very different. Sexual urges are much, much, much more fucking powerful than violent urges. Socrates himself even says that the male libido is like being chained to a madman. And your libido can make you do fucking stupid things. There's obviously a lot more to this argument, but we can get into that later.
But anyway, it gets worse than that. He then goes on to say, before anyone goes, oh, but Loli isn't, I don't care. Loli isn't even totally banned in my Discord, despite the fact that we post literal scat porn. I don't care if people call it art. It's kids being drawn suggestively. It can fuck off. Well then, I guess things like the book that Jermaine Gray published, like, nearly 20 years ago, with young boys being literally photographed suggestively is literal porn, right? I mean, technically it could be considered that, but are you complaining? Do you even know about that? Just wondering.
Well, considering that you just yourself said that it's young boys being photographed suggestively, which suggests a sexual element, then yes. Even the author herself actually says that she knew she was going to get called a pedo by releasing the book. But the sexual element might not even be true. I've not actually read the book or even heard of the book, so I'm not going to comment any further on a book that I haven't even read or heard of. But apparently, me not hearing of a book, Charming Man thinks that's a win or a gotcha or something for some reason. Alright then, man, I haven't heard of a book, I guess you win.
And interesting, it's banned on your Discord. Does this mean we found the weakness of the Scat Boys? Loli is your kryptonite, and that the Scat Man should fear the Loli?
You said yourself earlier that you don't like it, and then you tried to use me not liking it as a gotcha. Okay, but that's not the primary reason that it's banned in the Discord. It's banned in the Discord because Discord's own community guidelines in terms of service say that lolicon is completely banned. They even directly use the term lolicon. Another reason that lolicon is banned in the Discord is because lolicon is illegal in the UK, Charming Man. You know that country that you live in? That country that you're from? As of the 2008 amendment to the 1978 Protection of Children Act, computer-generated images of children, which are sexual, can see you on the sex offenders register and can see you in prison. And considering the fact that I live in a country where the police are kinda gunning for me, you know, I'd rather not. You know, I'd rather not get arrested for something like that. But hey, I guess that's just me being hypocritical.
I don't like children being drawn in a sexual manner. Wow, you cook my fucking sides. So from here on out, Dankula basically is what I'm going to call doing the Mr. Metica defense. So essentially puts his fingers in his ears and is edgy and doesn't listen to anybody and just basically makes shit to try and get people's attention, try to wind them up, because he doesn't really have a point, because his point is hypocritical. He's not arguing on principle, and if he tries to argue on principle with this, he's just going to fail. If
you look at all the later replies, I actually had a good chat with some people, and I even followed some back for further discussions, but the ones who acted like Spergs, I treated like Spergs. Now, given the fact that you've actually looked at my Twitter, it means that you've seen those tweets. You've seen the tweets of me talking to people being open for further discussion, but obviously those wouldn't have been very, very good for this video, so you just had to power up that cherry picker, didn't you, Mitch?
He hides behind Edge. And I'm sorry, Dank, but...
Not an argument.
Count Dankula acting edgy online I want to issue a public apology for that. I realise that is the type of behaviour that none of you ever expect of me. I'm really, really sorry that I've let you all down in acting in such a way on the internet of all places. I know it's not something that I'm known for or anything, and it's a drastic shift in my character. But personally, I blame drink, drugs, and alcohol, and I had a little bit of a mental breakdown. You know, I was taking Ambien. I was on Ambien, and I apologise most profusely for my actions, and I've now chosen to live the rest of my life as a gay man. Me acting like that is something that you've actually cheered on in the past, Mitch, but it seems that when it comes to certain subjects or certain people, they seem to be exempt from me acting like that. So it seems that, you know, I'm not allowed to do stuff like that when it comes to things that you personally care about, as if, you know, you get a special pass.
Whatever, pedo. And also he likes to tarnish all the people who disagree with him, it seems. Although, remember, he's doing this with a veneer of humour as paedophiles. But hey, it's okay, because you just can't handle Loli, you know? It's not my fault you get triggered by it.
Who would have ever thought that saying, I don't like looking at simulated images of children having sex, would have been a controversial opinion, or even a gotcha for some fucking reason?
When people who whack off to drawings of kids act morally superior and question your principles. Well, I don't know. You like to literally call yourself a fighter for freedom of speech, a free speech warrior, and that you're all for unfettered free speech. Yet apparently Loli is not part of that because you find it grossly offensive. So, sorry, but I think people have got you on this one. They really do.
That response you gave had pretty much nothing to do with the tweet that you just showed, so I'm really not sure what to do with this one. Why won't the devil just take me?
When it comes to principle, you really don't have a leg to stand on. And you're making yourself out to not really be for freedom of speech. It is whatever you like that should be defended.
Ooh, and there it is. And there it is. When did I ever say that it should be illegal? See, no one's ever been able to fucking give me any evidence of when I said it should be illegal. They've given me tweets where they made some great big fucking inference about it after, 6 steps of inference. That was the best that they could do, but no one's ever been able to actually source me where I said it should be illegal. Like everyone fucking said over and over and over. Because here's the funny thing is, I never said that. And everyone keeps arguing over a point that I never fucking said. As for Loli being legal or illegal, I never made any comment on that at all. But we can get into that later.
And come under the umbrella of freedom of speech, rather than things like Loli, which by the way is fictional, and as far as I'm aware anyway, especially in Japan, it does not have actual kids be used as models to make the actual art itself. It's drawn, it's cartoons, it's not real.
Yeah, I know. I had people for some reason making this argument to me online, and I find it bewildering that I need to clarify this point. I don't think cartoons are real people. I'm not Chris Chan.
So again, I reiterate, how is that dangerous? How is that something that's not protected under free speech? Because it's nothing more than just a representation of what could be.
It's because, like I said earlier, sexual urges are a very different type of beast to the other ones, but we're building up to what I actually think, so we can get into that later. Don't worry, it's coming.
And also, some lolis aren't actually kids. They're teenagers or adults drawn as children, but still with adult figures. I know, it's weird, but that's loli.
Well, then it's not a child. So what if it's an adult with like a small frame? Like, you get adults like that. I dated a girl like that. If the person is above the age of 18, or 16 if you're in the UK, then that person is an adult, which means it is an adult being shown and not a child, which means that it's not child porn because there is no child being shown. I am absolutely fine with that type of porn because it's adults being shown. This was a very, very strange point to make, Mitch. It's when the person being depicted is underage and it specifically states this person is in fact underage, then I have a problem, because that age part adds an entirely different element to the content. And people probably didn't know that that's how I actually felt about it, Because you were all too busy spurging out to fucking ask me.
It comes under a different kind of spectrum, I guess you could say. The best arguments so far. Oh, so you think drawn characters are real people? Just because it's drawing pictures of children doing pornographic things, that doesn't make it child pornography. Woo! Well, it's not literally child porn, is it? Because child porn, at least in my opinion, and at least in a lot of legal definitions, is using actual real children being abused and basically tortured for the pleasure of sick paedophiles. It's a literal slave trade in many ways. Loli is nothing more than cartoons.
Later that same day, I retracted that statement and changed it to simulated child porn. The only way for you to get the tweet that you're reading right now would be for you to actually scroll past the retraction, right? You've seen the tweet, charming man. In fact, you're about to read it out in a little minute. You're literally arguing against a retracted statement.
And if you think about it, it could be used to deter paedophiles from going out and seeking actual child porn and thus endangering more children's lives and enriching the sick cunts that actually make that crap.
Do you know that for a fact? Does Loli really prevent that, Mitch? What research have you done that actually proves that? But we're going to get into that later. I'm going to blue ball yous again and keep it all till the fucking end.
I'm not saying that Loli is great all of a sudden, I'm just saying that's what it can be used for. Give the nonsense an outlet that's actually safe, as opposed to something that will endanger more lives. And then he responds to another person saying to him, so you can run around screaming how drawings equal literal child porn. This really triggered you lot, didn't it? I don't know. I don't think anybody's really triggered.
Well, you should have seen my fucking mentions.
So on the one hand, you could be joking and saying, I don't actually think it's child porn. But on the other hand, you're just mocking him and saying that he's the one who's triggered. Yet you're the one that's saying it's literal child porn, and you don't like it, you're offended, and you've banned it in your Discord. Except for scat porn, which nearly got you banned.
Again, I retracted the literal child porn statement in a tweet that you have in fact seen, so you're arguing against a retracted statement. It's banned in the Discord because it's against Discord's TOS, and it's illegal in the UK, and the Dank Brigade was actually originally deleted over gore posts, not the scat porn, funnily enough. You give out an awful lot of misinformation, don't you, Mitch?
Tell you what, I'll meet you in the middle. Loli's not CP, it's simulated CP. Will that do? Probably not, because the truth hurts, doesn't it? Yeah, but Futabu but Maniko, yeah, I use that shit as the butt of jokes. I don't whack off to it.
Oh, so now you read the retraction out loud, the retraction of the statement that you've based this entire video on. You made a video on a retracted statement, Mitch. You now read out the retraction and then just move on as if nothing fucking happened. You had the retraction in front of you. You even sourced the retraction for this video. You then argue over a retracted statement. You then read out the retraction and then just what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, Mitch?
So what is he responding to in this? What is Futabu but Maniko? So at the end of his last video about Mad Lads, he put some Nakumara, whatever it's called, at the end of his video.
So I'm going to hop back into the mystery machine and shoot off. I think I've had quite enough of cat people. Okay, maybe not all cat people.
And guess what? Those anime characters, some of them, are 9 months old. Now I know you may be saying, but Mitch, that's a cat year thing, surely. But these are cat girls. They're basically human cat hybrids. That girl is 9 months old. Therefore, that's not even a lowly. That's something worse. Whoa. But it's okay. It's just a prank, bro, according to Dankula.
Someone actually gifted me the game on Steam and I had to stream the entire thing. Sex scenes removed, of course, because people found it very funny, you know, how uncomfortable it made me, and obviously because I was just making fun of and laughing at the thing all the way through, and people found that quite entertaining. So things like Nekopara and Futabu became long-running jokes between me and my subscribers and on the Dank Brigade, just for absolute memes and bants, but apparently it's jokes that I'm not allowed to make anymore, because just because I find these things funny, but also don't actually like the content, apparently it means that I'm not allowed to joke about them anymore. So I'm very, very sorry, guys. I know all of you probably really enjoyed those jokes. You enjoyed the memes and bants that came out of those, but According to the Lolly Brigade, because I am not woke enough on the lolly question, I'm not allowed to make such jokes anymore, so I'm sorry. I know you guys probably really enjoyed it, but the joke police have come knocking again. I also love how, despite me treating the whole thing as a joke, saying it was a joke, and clearly doing it for jokes, Mitch is deliberately ignoring the fucking context just so that he can make a weak point. You could probably get a job as a prosecutor, Mitch. I guess context doesn't matter with you either. All of a sudden.
But then it gets even more interesting. He follows Shadman. Shadman. Now, who is Shadman? Well, Shadman is a notorious artist who draws lolis. Now, of course, people are right. It's not the only thing he draws, but it is the thing that he's most famous for, and that he draws a hell of a lot of, and what has got him into a lot of shit and a lot of fame. And Count Dankula follows him. Now, why is Dankula following him? Who knows? It could be that they're just two fellow creators who have been attacked by people and the media for the things that they create or the things that they've done, and they probably have some kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say they have some kind of joint fight in this. Although, maybe Dankula likes his artwork. Wink wink, nudge nudge.
The follows equal endorsements argument. Well, that's fine then, Mitch. You follow JF and Richard Spencer, which means that you are alt-right. You also follow Onision, someone who hasn't drawn underage girls, but has had some real-world, fiascos involving underage girls. I wonder, why could you be following him, Mitch? Wink wink, nudge nudge, you fucking sperg. Also, the entire lolly fiasco is something that I was not well versed on. If you actually watch my old debates with Amos Yee, he actually asks me that question, and I didn't have an answer, because I didn't know. So who better to actually learn from than the person who is well known for creating that kind of art? But I mainly follow him because he draws traps.
But it's just weird how he goes all out and doubles down, uses the Metica defense to attack Loli while he's doing all this shit.
Doubling down by retracting my statement and saying I want to do more research. That's doubling down, apparently.
But you know what? He has a great excuse for this. I also follow Nicola Sturgeon and Jeremy Corbyn. Follows equals endorsement. Surely can do better. Oh no, we didn't say that you endorsed him. We just found it very...
You literally, just a few moments ago, tried to suggest that follows equal endorsements.
It's just really convenient that you lash out against people who like Loli and want to defend Loli as an art form. I think it does fall under free speech, while you put Loli in your videos just for a prank, bro, obviously, and also because you follow Shadman. It's just really interesting, Dank. I'm just saying, Marcus.
So earlier on, you tried to make fun of Metacar for the way he conducts himself, but right now you're using his famous activates my almonds. You contradict yourself an awful lot, don't you, Mitch?
And you know what? I finally discovered your weakness. I finally found the thing that will really rile up you and your boys. It would be a real shame if somebody were to visit the old Discord and, post some things, but that's not an endorsement. I'm just saying it would be a shame. It would just be a real shame if somebody was to go over there and to share the man-boy love, you know what I mean? Nah, that's just all for jokes, guys.
Well, remember, Mitch, we live in a country where context doesn't matter. It'd be a real shame if the police ignored the context of what you just said and took that as you encouraging people to post child porn, and then your little cute, effeminate self ended up in prison. With me. Don't worry, son. It's just jokes.
Anyway, that's the end of the video. I personally don't think that this art form is really literal child porn. Literal child porn is, well, literal child porn with actual human beings being abused in it.
I acknowledge that, Mitch. In a tweet that you read out in this fucking video.
And I think that Loli does come under freedom of speech, and I think that people should be able to draw it and publish it and make money off of it, because it doesn't actually harm anybody. It's a victimless crime. You'd basically be punishing people for, smoking weed. That's essentially how we would be punishing people who own and draw Loli. Literally, a victimless crime doesn't harm anybody. Do you see how completely nonsensical this is? And how hypocritical and how just idiotic you look when you say these things and you try to pull the Metica defense. It just doesn't work, Dan. You know what? Let's agree to disagree. I'll end the video here. See you later, guys.
It took a while, but right here is where we get to the meat. The real meat of this argument. Not the type of meat that you would be getting when I meet you in the showers, Mitch, but the real meat. The real meat of this entire discussion that we've been trying to get to. I have viewed studies, I've even looked at some of the stuff that people have actually sent to me, and so far all I'm seeing is they all conflict. There isn't really a definitive answer. Some are saying that giving paedophiles the outlet actually prevents them from molesting real-world kids. Some are actually saying that giving them that only adds fuel to the fire and can result in more kids being molested. And it can actually normalise sexual attraction to kids and create even more pedos. And this is the area that needs looked at. If you speak to actual paedophiles, like I had the pleasure of doing during the whole Amos Yee debacle, they tell you that it's nothing to really do with the body for them. You know, there are grown women that actually do have small figures, but they're not interested in them. For pedos, it's the age. It's the age that does it. It's the age that matters to them. That was only a small sample of 5 that I spoke to, so that isn't really hard data, but it just shows that that is an area that does need to get looked at more. The point I was building up to, even though the studies exist, they all conflict with each other. And even making lolly legal or illegal in certain cultures might have a different effect. Making lolly legal in one culture might prevent molestation. Making lolly legal in another culture might actually increase it. So when it comes down to whether or not lolly porn should be legal or illegal, I don't know. And you don't fucking know either, Mitch. Because right now the studies and information are so divided on it and no one actually has a definitive fucking answer. So what I'm trying to say is we should maybe wait for a bit more information, and until then, err on the side of caution. And let's not make any rash decisions that could possibly lead to people being hurt on either side. Right, I don't think that's hypocritical or me being a prick to wait for more information and err on the side of caution in the meantime. Fucking hell. Basically, a further conversation needs to be had here. Say that more research comes out, and it states that making lolly legal and giving paedophiles that outlet actually reduces real-world child molestation. Okay, so even though morally I don't like lolly porn, I wouldn't let my own sensibilities stand in the way of something that could ultimately lead to children being protected. So, despite the fact that I find lolly morally reprehensible, I would want it to be allowed because, in the long run, it would help people. However, if research came out that showed making lolly legal actually increased child molestation and there was a definitive link, then I would ask for it to remain illegal. Now, lolly being a right to freedom of speech and a right to freedom of expression is something else entirely, because art, no matter what it depicts, should be protected. It should be. But the problem is, even at that, lolly, despite what you may think of it, is a form of art. It's a morally reprehensible, terrible form of art, but it's a form of art nonetheless. And art should be protected under freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And here is where we have a problem. This is going to cause a lot of fucking arguments, right? So, yous all have fun in the fucking comments, boys, right? See when it comes to freedom of speech, right? You know, it's something that I support, but everyone keeps thinking that I am infallible. I am not. I get things wrong. I get a lot of things wrong sometimes, right? Just because I say something in relation to free speech doesn't automatically make what I say correct, right? I would advise everybody to go out and do their own research on everything that I say. Okay? Like, don't just see, just because I'm seen as the free speech guy, it doesn't mean that just because I say something on free speech makes it gospel and automatically correct, right? Please don't think like that. Personally, for me, I just want more information. I know that deep down, I should just directly be supporting lolly, because it is freedom of speech and it is freedom of expression. It's just, morally bringing myself to do that is a pretty difficult thing. So I'm kind of hoping that I see information that, you know, shows that it actually decreases molestation, so that I can morally bring myself to actually defend it, right? Like I said, I'm not perfect. When it comes to free speech and freedom of expression, I'm not perfect. There are things that I genuinely do not like, right? Even though I know that, in the sake of fairness, I should be supporting it. It's hard, right? It's difficult. It's a hard thing for me to do. I hope you can just appreciate that it is a hard thing for me to support that type of stuff. Okay then, but in the meantime, people, I know that Louis Levi wanted to have a chat with me about it. I'm open for a chat with it. You know, if Mitch wants to come on and have a nice big chat about it, I'm down for doing that as well. It's just that this is an area where a further conversation needs to be had. Okay? But in the meantime, don't load the lolly. I was shit. You know, I don't give a fuck, right? I'm fucking sick. Fuck off.
It's Count Dankula on YouTube. Everybody should subscribe.